Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be talking about my PCAT experiences and how I scored a 90 percentile on my first attempt on the PCAT. So let's get right into it. I'll first go over the books and resources that I used to prepare for the PCAT. So the first one, the Kaplan practice book. So this is the older version, 2018 to 2019 practice book, which does not reflect the time that I took my PCAT on. I should have used a 2019-2020 Kaplan book because I did not know about this in advance. Therefore, I purchased a secondhand book from someone else. But I do recommend you to just buy the Kaplan book that reflects the year that you're taking your PCAT on, because the types of PCAT questions are constantly changing, and maybe they're not, but they have changed drastically over the past several years. So it's important for you to purchase the book that is printed or made that reflects the time that you're taking your PCAT on. So the second resource that I used was the Dr. Collins practice exams. Those were actually even older than this book. They're probably from 2016, I would guess, because it had the verbal section on it, which has been taken off for like maybe 3 years already. And what I think, I'll first talk about the Dr. Collins exams. They are a lot easier to me, a lot easier than the actual PCAT. And the questions are more straightforward and they're more generalized. So I do not recommend using an outdated set of Dr. Collins exams. I am not sure about the current version of the Dr. Collins, but you can look into it and figure out, but an older version of it I would not recommend. And the Kaplan book, in contrast, actually helped me quite a bit because it consists of the materials that you need to study for the content. For example, for biology, it has the materials or the main concepts that you need for your PCAT, which is pretty nice. Like, I don't have to read the textbook, read my intro bio textbook all over again and review my class lectures. I can just read this Kaplan book and be fine and do fine on my PCAT. Same with chemistry. And the nice thing about this book is it has reading passages and questions on the passages, and which is very helpful. At first, I didn't know these passages were actually on the PCAT. And I kind of ignored them until I did my PCAT practice, the actual PCAT practice exam, which I freaked out and went back to look at the passages in the Kaplan book. So it's important for you to just look through the passages and work on those problems. And yeah, so these are the two main resources that I used. The Kaplan book is actually not that expensive. It's only like $30 to $40, I believe, if you purchase a new copy of it, which is way much better. It's at a better pricing than Dr. Collins. I think those cost like $200 to $300. And yeah, so I'll talk about my study schedule next. So I originally intended to put out 2 months to study for my PCAT, which did not happen, of course. I'm the person who's really bad with keeping up my schedule, to be honest. And another thing is that I ended up having to take a summer class in the first part of my summer. So I took a summer class right after school ended, and that ran until like the beginning of June. And I thought that I could actually set aside some of the time to study my PCAT while taking the class, which I didn't end up doing because the materials just didn't overlap at all. I took an econ class and I don't think anything overlapped except for learning how to calculate percentages, which appeared in the quantitative section as a few problems. But besides that, I don't think anything else overlapped. And yeah, so I officially started my studying on June 3rd, the first week of June. And my study schedule was I set aside 4 to 6 hours of my day to study. I would wake up early, probably around 7 and 8, and I would eat breakfast. I would go out and jog for like 20 to 30 minutes and then come back to eat breakfast and then start studying. I would study for about 2 to 3 hours in the morning, and then I would eat lunch, take a nap if I feel really tired, and I would wake up to do 2 to 3 more hours of study, and that would be my day. I did it Monday to Friday, and I would take Saturday and Sunday as my breaks. Yay! Of course, you need to give yourself breaks when you're studying, even though it's kind of intense, but breaks are necessary to relax your brain. And how I separated my schedule was that I first studied reading and math, and because I thought, these knowledge I've accumulated over all these years, so I just need to go back and refresh my mind and just do practice problems, and I'll be fine with these 2 sections. And then the next section I did was biology. I chose biology first over chemistry because I did take a lot of bio classes. I took 3 bio classes last semester. I took immunology, microbiology, and evolutionary and ecology. And I felt like, these topics, these subjects are very relevant in the PCAT. And there's still like a lot of the stuff that I learned in those classes were still fresh on my mind. So I thought, yes, I just need to go back and review the material and I'll do fine. And I thought that I would struggle a lot on chemistry because I took organic chemistry in my 2nd year and I just finished my 3rd year, so that was a year ago. And yeah, I really need to refresh my mind on those reactions and synthesis problems and all of that. So that was how I scheduled it. So I spent a week and a half doing reading and math problems, and then I spent 1 week on biology. So like the first 3 days reading the Kaplan book and highlighting the important stuff, important content that I need to know, important facts. And then I spent like the last 2 days of the week just doing practice problems. And for chemistry, I spent about a week and a half taking notes. I took notes for chemistry because of the reactions. I thought that I would memorize them better. I could remember them better if I wrote them down. And for Gen Chem also, yes, that's an important part too, but like not just organic chemistry. So I spent about 5 days reviewing chemistry and then 3 days doing practice problems. So that was my schedule. Okay, and now I'm going to talk about my actual PCAT practice exams. So after studying my chemistry part of the PCAT, I left about a week and a half before my actual PCAT to do one of the official practice exams. And so I bought two practice exams, two multiple choice practice exams, and one writing exam, and that costed me I think $100 exact. And they were pretty expensive, but I thought it was very worth it because after I took my first official practice exam, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm gonna fail my PCAT. Because it was actually, I thought it was a lot harder than the Dr. Collins. Maybe I was freaking out at the moment. That's why I had the feeling of, oh my goodness, I'm gonna bomb it. So I freaked out, and I knew that I only had a week of time, so I just studied day and night for the rest of the week for the exam, which I do not recommend. So I have taken an official practice exam earlier, so I have enough time to prepare my mentality for that. Yes, and one more thing about the official practice exam was that I did not know that there were reading passages on the bio and chemistry sections. Those came to me as a surprise because Dr. Collins' exams did not have those things. Probably because the ones that I had were very outdated. So that's why I do recommend you to purchase the updated version of the practice books. So the Dr. Collins reading passages, I think they were a lot easier to read and to comprehend than the actual PCAT passages. The questions were more straightforward. The Dr. Collins tend to ask, oh, what is this, and like what is XYZ right from the passage. So it's just something that you just need to go back and look for it, and then you would get the answer from the passage. Meanwhile, the official practice exam, or the actual PCAT, had a lot of inference analysis types of questions, which I'm really bad on because I set my mentality on answering questions that are more straightforward. So I'm really bad at reading a passage and understanding the passage in a time constraint. So that I didn't do that well on my PCAT reading section. I'll talk about it later. And for the okay, my phone cut me off again. So let me start on yes. So going back to the math section. The math section, they were quite similar. I don't think math can get any harder or easier on the PCAT. So math problems, I feel like yes, Dr. Collins' exams do resemble the actual PCAT. And for the bio and chemistry, like I've said before, there are a lot of the actual PCAT consists of 50% of the passages. No, the actual PCAT consists 50% of the passages, and you have to answer questions directly. You have to answer questions from the passage that you read. For the bio section, I think you actually had to skim the passage and understand what's going on in the passage, answer the questions. But for chemistry, I feel like those questions are something that you can answer right out of your head and based on the knowledge that you know, rather than reading the passage and perceive your answer from the passage. The questions are actually more straightforward to me on the chemistry section than the bio section. So that's the actual PCAT versus the practice that I've done. And yes, the official practice exam for the PCAT is just like the actual PCAT. So I super recommend you to purchase the official practice PCAT exam. And those are totally worth it. They do worth my $100. And that's all I have to say today. If you have any question, please leave your questions in the comment section below. And if you find this video helpful to you, please like it, hit thumbs up, and good luck to you on your PCAT exams, and I'll see you next time. Bye!